Hello, welcome to the 22nd video in the Chinese martial arts poetry series. In this video, we're going to be going over a movement from the 18 Luo Han Qigong system. In this system, we're going to be going over the movement called Follow the Horse's Hoof. So the movement is like this. Come up into crane and then come out like so into snake stance. So the actual movement is this part here. This is essentially filing the hoof. Now, this is meant to convey a story of sort, not necessarily a story, but an imagery. So the idea is that you've got a horse and you've got to shave off their hoofs, right? Because otherwise they grow and get all gnarly and nasty. So you've got the horse, you take its leg from underneath and you wrench it up like so, this way it can't kick you. And then you make sure it's all nice and secure, and you take your utensil and start filing away the hoof until it's at an appropriate measurement. So this movement is essentially the filing right here. So that's the imagery. What it's supposed to teach us about the movement is in this filing movement, as well as this splitting type of energy. So that splitting energy happens here, where you see the elbow striking backwards and the hand chopping downwards like so as we sink into the stance. So this splitting type of energy, which also happens in the legs, as you can see, it twists the leg here and then shoots out the foot. So the splitting energy happens throughout the whole body. This will give us essentially the scientific equivalent with the whole, with every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So by doing this, we're giving more solidity to our movement. If I only have something going forward, then if any force were to take that movement and add to it, so if someone were to try and pull me, if I don't have anything going backwards, I'd fall forwards. Same thing if I was only moving backwards and someone were to push me, I'd fall backwards more than I intended to go. So you have to have equal measurements. So it needs to be something moving forward and something moving backwards in order to give that more solidity to your movement, more rooting. So that's with that. And there's also the idea of filing. So filing the horse's hoof, the imagery is there. There's also filing is in the martial application. So you can take their limb, whether you get a arm or a leg, which is more in line with the poetry, because the idea of the filing the horse's hoof could be their own hoofs. In this case, a kind of ankle lock and then a leg takedown. But the idea of filing in Chinese martial arts refers to an action that doesn't go directly into it, directly into a target, but it chips off a piece, as it were. So instead of going through a target like this, it would go in, dig inwards, and then chip off a piece like so. So this kind of a motion can dig into the bones as well as the flesh. So movements like this, where you file inwards using your forearm and your hand, it also presents a difficulty in rooting against it, because it's not just a one-dimensional movement. Most people can resist one-dimensional movements. If they get hit or if they're pushed, they can accept the push, they can stop the force, or they can root against the attack, and they can absorb it. But if the thing is moving in 3 dimensions, it's much harder to do so, because in order to resist it one way, you have to prepare your body in that direction. But if it's going in multiple different directions, or if it's changing its direction, you have to adjust your body to make up for the change in directions. So giving a file, it's giving this kind of arcing motion to it that makes it much more difficult to root against, which means it's very easy to uproot somebody using the filing motion, or to hurt someone using the filing motion. So you can think about it kind of like that. All right, so that's Follow the Horse's Hoof from 18 Luo Han Qigong. Thank you very much.